Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Huddle. Tonight, we are going to discuss the obstacles that we come across when we are goaling towards better health. And I'd love to hear strategies and input from everybody here on the call as to how you deal with these struggles and obstacles. So a lot of times, we have our goal in mind, but things come up that we feel tempted to derail against what we know we should be doing to meet our goals. And a lot of times that happens in social events, celebrations, having food just hanging around the house from other members of the family. From your perspectives, what are some of your obstacles that have created temptation to go against what your goals are? Who would like to go first?
I can go first.
Okay, Raquel.
This is not an everyday struggle, but I went away on a girls' trip this last weekend, and one of the things they do is eat a lot.
Absolutely.
And so, of course, besides the meals that were kind of heavy, they also had just candy and muffins and all these other things just laying around on the counter all the time, drinking lots of sodas, and some of them drink wine, and just a lot of calories. And that was a struggle to kind of continue making those positive choices, but still know that I could enjoy the weekend without the bad food aspect of it.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that struggle. Can anybody else relate to that? I can. Yeah. Potluck, birthday parties, anything that has to do with celebrating, we tend to want food around, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
Anybody else have a specific temptation that they'd like to share? Becca, do you have any?
Yeah. I mean, I'm staying with my folks right now, and there's definitely food and goodies galore there. In fact, as I was coming to I'm at the gym right now, and my dad was going out to Fresh Market to get some treats. And he asked me if I wanted to get him something, and I'm like, no, I haven't been to Fresh Market for treats in 3 weeks. So,
good for you.
so it's like they're definitely offering them, and a lot of stuff around the house that are not so nice. Sometimes I'm strong, but sometimes I'm not. Tonight I was strong against that one, at least.
Yay! Any victory? Good for you. Good for
yes.
Alois, when are you? What situations do you find tempting on your journey?
Well, I'm not sure that it's really considered tempting. I mean, I'm very lucky in the fact that Eddie and I are doing this together,
Mm-hmm.
and we only keep the food in the house that we eat, and it's just the two of us now, and it's. But what I noticed is when we had some friends over for the weekend, they're visiting from California. It wasn't really temptation that got to me. It was that I was so preoccupied with everything we were doing that I would forget to eat my meals. I mean, I wasn't like clockwork like normal, and I wasn't drinking near as much water as I normally do. Even though I was drinking a lot of water, I just wasn't drinking as much because I wasn't on a set schedule, because we were having so much fun.
That makes total sense. Thank you for sharing that. And Tamara, what about you?
I struggle at work a lot because we have a lot of people that bring in, of course, goodies, especially this time of year with Halloween and fall. And it's going to get worse with December rolling around. So that's my struggle.
People bringing things into work. Absolutely. That happens for a lot of people. It's very tempting for a lot of people. And I'll share mine. I went on vacation, this last weekend, and we went to a lot of restaurants. And I'm very strong most of the time in knowing my choices. But towards the fourth or fifth time you're visiting a restaurant, you're looking at all the choices and going, do I really want to stick to my salad or protein and vegetables, what I know I should be choosing? But you start, your eyes start drifting on that menu, and it becomes very tempting to choose something that's an old favorite or something like that. So that was a lot of temptation this weekend for me. I really appreciate everybody sharing, because as we just heard, temptations come in many forms. Sometimes you can control the food environment in your own home. I know for me, I'm single, I live alone. So yeah, I can control what comes into my home. But sometimes the social events are the things that kind of tempt me. Other time, the workplace. Other time, big get-togethers like a scrapbooking weekend or something like that. And so there's so many times out there that, our minds start to want to drift over to making those not so positive choices for our goals. But I want to hear from you guys. What are some strategies that you've been able to put in place to help you overcome those temptations or those situations where you're tempted to go away from what you want? Now, I did put people on mute because we were getting some feedback. So let's check in with Raquel first. Let me go ahead and unmute you.
Can you repeat the question real quick?
Absolutely. What are some strategies that you've been able to put in place in your own life to help you through those tough times?
Definitely the first strategy is just planning ahead as much as you can. Having those healthy choices available to yourself whenever possible. And then I think the other times, if I wasn't planning ahead or thinking ahead, is just thinking, and this isn't always effective, but just thinking, that am I willing to sacrifice or kind of set myself back for this one thing? Is it really worth it to me to not progress or to move toward my goal, my weight loss?
So in that regard, are you utilizing the type of strategy that some of our readings have been about, the stop, challenge, choose?
Absolutely.
Okay. So for you, that looks as to stopping from making the decision right away and just reaching for whatever or ordering whatever. And from what I heard you saying, you are weighing the importance of that decision against what the weight of importance of your goal is to you at that time. And yes. How often do you find that process, that stopping, challenging yourself, and then choosing leads you to the better outcome for your goals?
I would say 9 out of 10 times.
That's wonderful. That really is. I mean, we're not perfect people, right?
No.
But that is wonderful. Thanks for sharing, Raquel.
No problem.
Let's see. In case Becca's phone dies out on us soon, I want to check in with you, Becca. Are you there with us?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I'm still here.
Fantastic. So what are some strategies that you've been able to put in place to help you through those times?
I don't know. I guess probably stop, challenge, choose the other night when I was wanting some candy, which also is in the house. My mom is planning ahead for Halloween. So there it is. Then it was just like, Becca, is that really going to be worth it? Like, how good can, such and such little candy be? Like that's kind of pathetic. Really, it's just like, just go to bed instead. So that was a successful conquest, at least in that instance. So
absolutely. Well, congratulations on that. I love that, you you said to yourself, really, just go to bed. That is actually that is actually a strategy.
Yeah, like just go to bed. Exactly, because it's like, are you bored? Are you really hungry? No, I mean, and if you're wanting a treat, well, I mean, is a little Snickers mini that much of a treat? No, just go to bed and be done with it.
And in the
So,
morning, did
you
you
know,
wake
just,
up
and,
dreaming about that Snickers?
pardon?
In the morning.
No, I didn't. You know, and that's the thing. It's just like so many times, you know, whatever we want, it's just like a few minutes later, it's not going to matter to us, you know, that we denied ourselves of it. So we just, you know, we should just walk. Why can I just not choose to walk on by the other times and just remember how it felt when I walked by before, that it wasn't like I was feeling deprived 15 minutes later, you know?
Absolutely.
So it's so momentary when we, you know, when we have that, when we give into something. So I just need to remember that
Awesome.
feeling.
Thank you so much for sharing, Becca. I really appreciate it. Okay, Alois, let's check in with you. What are some strategies that have been helpful for you?
I'm thinking just keeping a lot of fresh vegetables chopped up. I have this really cool little chopper thing that little containers of vegetables chopped up in the refrigerator, and then I always have protein options in the freezer. So I don't know.
Well, I love there that you basically just said you have given yourself an excuse or have taken away the excuse of not being prepared. You have the options there for you.
Right.
So that planning ahead, that's huge.
Yeah. And then with the prepackaged things, I mean, that's the easy thing, but you know, the one lean green that I do eat is just, you know, there's always options. And I can go and, you know, I can cook my vegetables, or I can have a salad or whatever, you know,
It's there. So yeah, you've taken away that, oh man, I don't have anything in the house, I'm gonna have to go grab something. Awesome. Thanks for sharing, Alois.
Mm-hmm.
And Tamara, how about you?
I have learned how to say no, thank you.
Good for you.
Oh, yeah, it's a big deal when, you know, you have a lot of people saying, "Oh, just have a little bit." You know, it can be very frustrating when you're trying to really be good, and when you have people around you that just want to eat whatever. So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. Just learning how to say no and not feel guilty about that. You know, food is basically the last socially acceptable addiction. We are supposed to celebrate with food. That's what society tells us. When something, actually, we're supposed to do everything with food, is what society tells us. When things are going great, let's celebrate. Let's go out to dinner. When things are not going great, let's go console each other over dinner, or let's have a party. What snacks are you guys going to bring? Birthday cake, and it gets overwhelming, yet we are not allowed to be, it's not socially acceptable to be overweight. So it's this huge conundrum where everybody wants to, use food as a celebration point, but then we don't like the effects that we get from using food as a celebration point. So being able to be okay with saying no, and, the reactions that some people have when you say no is a big deal. And that's really, really great, Tamara. So, I always love to think of some other things that we can do when we're having a craving moment. A big thing is to go for a walk. 15 minutes of walking, you are not going to remember what you were craving earlier. That's a big one. Another thing would be when we're talking about celebrations, a lot of times those are centered around food, but there's a lot of things, a lot of ways that we can celebrate birthdays, anniversaries, big moments in our lives without the use of food. You can plan a mini golf thing. You can plan to get a massage if it's something that you're celebrating for yourself. There's so many celebrations that can be had without food that are very, very, good for our souls, in that we're feeling accomplished, but we're not going against what our health goals were. Are there any other strategies that anybody else would like to put into the conversation? Maybe I've forgotten. Okay, then it looks like we have covered it this evening. I think this was a great discussion. I loved hearing how everybody, overcomes these temptations. Like I said, we're not perfect, and we're human. And so, you may not be a conqueror every single time, but every little step towards going towards your goal is going to get you there. And I just commend you all for really, taking charge of your health and committing to yourselves. I think this is fantastic. I hope that everybody has a great evening. Thanks so much for joining, and we'll see you next Tuesday.
Bye.
Okay, thanks, Karen.
Bye.
Okay, bye-bye.